less than an hour away from the kickoff of Berwick Bulldogs football on Pop Radio. Streaming online at thisispopradio.com. Brought to you by
Mason's Monogramming, Overhead Door of Berwick, Mayo Funeral Home, State Farm, Sean Black and Lori Powell, First Keystone Bank, Red's Roofing, Neighbor Fence Company, Wolfie's Automotive, ND Accounting and Consulting, J-Dog Junk Removal and Hauling of Berwick, Master Tech Automotive Services, Eco First Logistics, Ken Pollock, Journey Bank, Flick Brothers Electric in Bloomsburg, Alexander GMC of Hazleton, Papa Lou's Place, The Compression Shop, Cardinal Estate Planning, Chapin Oil, and Mark Nespoli of eXp Realty.
It's time for the CJ Curry Show on Pop Radio. Here is Jim Doyle.
Well, the stage is set for the biggest game of the regular season tonight here at Crispin Field, Wyoming area at Berwick. Both teams 5-0. Last Friday, the Warriors remained unbeaten with a 42-0 win over Tunkhannock, while the Bulldogs routed Hanover area 56-19. CJ, another huge night for Ty Wilkerson, 256 yards rushing and 5 touchdowns against the Hawkeyes. A few times each game, you put Ty in the Wildcat. You have him take a direct snap. How do you decide when to do that, and what advantage does that give your offense?
You know, first off, it's just getting the ball in Ty's hands immediately and giving him a little bit more time to make decisions. I think another big part of that is it's +1. You know, you have an extra blocker in there. You know, you're taking out your quarterback, and so one guy who was just handing the ball off and not really having an opportunity to go block somebody, now you're getting an extra blocker in there, and it just gives one more person to help try to pave the way for Ty to go make a play down the field. And so we try to use it. We practice it every week. We have it in a couple different formations. We have it in formations that we haven't necessarily had to show yet. So something that, you know, we're still keeping in our back pocket of having Ty do that. But, you know, one thing that Ty can do is just be great with his vision. And if he just has the ball in his hands already with an opportunity to go hit the hole, make the play, whether it's outside or inside, that's just what gives us a little extra something putting him in that Wildcat.
A great catch and run by Shiloh Escobar, 37-yard touchdown from Brady Cleaver in the third quarter. Your team hasn't thrown the ball much at all this season, but Shiloh, Alex Estrella, Caleb May, they've all shown they're more than capable as receivers, aren't they?
Absolutely. You know, we talked about that in film this past Monday where, you know, a lot of teams are starting to think that we're one-dimensional. So we're going to start to see teams put 10, 11 guys in the box, but we have the receivers that can go out and make plays. So, you know, Brady definitely took a step forward last week, although both of his throws were short. You know, one, Shiloh had a great touchdown run on, broke a couple tackles, had great vision, but it was getting the ball out, getting it out on time. You know, there's still a couple things that Brady asked to clean up that we saw on film. You know, he missed our first play action throw where he had Gabe Decker for a touchdown, but, you know, just some things to clean up with his footwork on that one. And then, you know, seeing the one that he threw out in the back of the end zone, you know, trying to take a shot and, you know, threw it to the right guy, but it was just a little bit late. So as he continues to get this in-game experience, I think he's truly going to be able to continue to build. But, you know, we certainly have the guys that can go make plays with the three names that you just mentioned, you know, in Shiloh, Alex, and Caleb, and then having a guy like Gabe Decker and having a guy like Ashton Smith and having Ty out of the backfield and Gavin Galusha. I mean, he has a lot of weapons to pick from, and we're going to try to continue to build, but it's certainly something that, you know, we have to continue to improve on.
Another great game for your offensive line, leading the way for Ty Wilkerson and others. Do you as a staff grade your linemen after every game?
Coach Dawson does a great job with that, yeah. So Coach Dawson gives them a grade, and it's based on their alignment, their assignment, and their execution. And so, you know, we have multiple guys who have graded great for Coach Dawson, but, you know, our highest rated guy so far this season has been our right tackle, Mike Perry. And Mike Perry, you know, a guy who it's his first year of experience, and, you know, although he's a little bit fresher because he's only playing one way, but he's done a great job in taking over for Chase Shuckers, who was huge shoes to fill on the offensive line. But, you know, Mike's done a great job, and everybody's really contributed greatly. I mean, Nico Lonzinski and Henry Snyder, they've graded very similarly at the center position. So it's really nice knowing that you have really 6 guys that you can trust to have in there at any given time.
Well, up next, CJ will evaluate his team's defensive effort against Hanover area. You're listening to the CJ Curry Show here on Pop Radio.
Hey, hometown fans. You know Journey Bank as your trusted local bank, but did you know we're also the biggest cheerleader for our community's youth? From athletes competing under the Friday night lights, to students excelling in the classroom, to talented teen stars singing center stage, we're investing in the future of our young people. At Journey Bank, we're committed to helping our kids score big in every aspect of life. Journey Bank, where dreams are nurtured and futures are built. Journey Bank, proud supporter of our local youth.
Buying or selling a home isn't just about real estate. It's about community, trust, and finding the right fit for your future. And nobody knows Berwick like Mark Nespoli with eXp Realty. Mark's your neighbor, rooted right in Berwick, with a passion for helping people find their perfect home, which is why he's also a top producing agent nationwide. So when it's time for your next move, choose the agent who knows the Berwick market and the community inside and out. Mark Nespoli, eXp Realty. Visit the570realtor.com or visit at Mark Nespoli on Facebook. Mark Nespoli, Berwick's hometown realtor.
When you're shopping for insurance, you might say, "What? Huh?"
I'm so over this.
But what you really need to say is something that could actually help.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
When you get a local State Farm agent, they can help make it easy and help you choose the coverage you need. Plus, they're available online, over the phone, or even in person.
I'm so into this.
Visit your Berwick State Farm agents, Sean Black at InsureBerwick.com and Lori Powell at LoriPowell.net.
For over 50 years, you've trusted Overhead Door to provide the finest quality residential and commercial garage door products, installation, and service. With winter right around the corner, your garage doors need a tune-up. For only $99 for one or $125 for multiple doors, they'll check, lube, and adjust your garage doors and openers so they operate smoothly. Call for their seasonal tune-up special, Overhead Door of Berwick. They're more than just doors. See their 5-star rating on their Google business page or visit OHDberwick.com.
You're listening to the CJ Curry Show on Pop Radio. Here with the coach of the Berwick Bulldogs is Jim Doyle.
Crispin Field is the venue tonight for a great matchup. Unbeaten Wyoming area against the unbeaten Bulldogs. CJ, the 19 points scored by Hanover area last Friday was the most scored against your team's defense this season. Was that a disappointment?
Yeah, absolutely. I really do believe that it was a disappointment. And our guys after the game, you wouldn't think that it was a 56-19 win because our guys were not satisfied whatsoever with that performance. And our players are the ones after the game, as we were breaking it down in the huddle, that said this was a wake-up call for us. And it was a humbling moment for us. And, it's always nice when your players can recognize that when they don't perform up to the standards that we've set for ourselves and the expectation that we've set for ourselves, that they're the first ones to say, listen, this is a humbling moment. And it's even nicer when they can have that feeling after winning the game 56-19. And so, Hanover did a great job. And we talked about it last week. They have a great quarterback who throws the ball accurately. They have a lot of weapons at wide receiver, and they marched right down the field in that 2-minute drill. I was trying to burn timeouts to give us time to score, and obviously left too much time on the clock. It was like a Baker Mayfield touchdown drive for these guys at the end of the half. And so they were impressive with what they were able to do. But our defensive backs have to understand that we've got an all-state receiver coming to our house tonight. A quarterback who, although it's his first year, he can get the ball out. A great tight end. And so the challenge is there for us defensively, especially from a defensive back position, to make sure that we're put in position to make plays consistently all night.
Hanover area's Logan Richardson is a good quarterback, but your team had constant pressure on him and ended up getting your first interception of the season from Gavin Galusha. Most of the pressure comes from your front four or front five. That's a big advantage when you can get it from them, isn't it?
Huge. And that's what, we've talked about this before, Jim, as well, as I haven't seen a front four be able to get pressure in quite a few years here. But when you have guys like JJ and Matt and Everett Snyder and Gabe Decker, Skylar Neville, Ashton Smith now giving us really good reps at defensive end. These guys can get to the quarterback. And last week we put in a different kind of front and showed some different blitzes, things that Hanover hasn't seen and nobody's seen on tape. And that's a credit to Coach Sidler. I'm sure if Coach Sheptalk watched that film from Friday night, he would say, I recognize that blitz package. And so our linebackers and our defensive line were able to figure it out really quickly in our install last week. And it really freed up some gaps and for not only our front four to make plays, but Gavin Galusha was all over the field on Friday night. And, he's up to be the District 2 Defensive Player of the Week this week for good reason. He had 8 tackles, 5 for a loss, 3 sacks, and gets our first interception of the season. So number 2 was all over the field on Friday night. tonight. But just a credit once again to whatever front that we're in. We were in a 4 front with 3 backers last week and still able to get pretty consistent pressure, which was great to see.
Yeah, if I'm an opposing quarterback playing Berwick, I'm yelling over to my coach, say, hey, how about a screen? How about a draw? Get these guys off me. It's been relentless, and it makes it so much easier on the secondary.
Oh, for sure. And when you see a guy like Jack Ravine this week, which I know that we'll get to him, but, quickly, when you see a guy like him who's going to roll out, he's a great athlete. If we could put pressure on him, it's going to help us out, so much tonight where he just doesn't have a clean pocket to get a good, accurate ball out to number 8, because number 8 will come down with it.
CJ, your special teams were special last Friday, particularly Caleb May. He runs a kickback for a touchdown. He gets called back. He runs another kickback for a touchdown, this one from 93 yards. It's hard to say how this will play out, but I have a feeling you're going to have opposing teams kicking short, not wanting to go to him. But if they do that, that's a field position advantage for your team, isn't it?
Yeah, for sure. And our kickoff return team has been great this year. Every time Caleb May has the ball in his hands, he's electric. And so, had given him that second opportunity, it was really cool to see him take that one back to the house. And our guys have a saying, "Ball don't lie." And so, when they kicked it back to him, he took it back a second time. And our other guy back there is Galusha. But then you have guys like Shiloh, and you have guys like Skylar Neville, guys like Brock Sims, who are all comfortable with having the football in their hands on our front lines. And so it's a win-win, whether it's field position or whether they kick it deep to one of our guys, and that's been huge for us. Our kickoff coverage team has to be improved because we can't give Wyoming area tonight the opportunity that Hanover got this past Friday night, where they bring a long one back for inside the red zone. We hold them to a field goal, and then that following possession we fumble the ball, so we're up 14-0. A great team is going to be able to capitalize those mistakes into touchdowns, and so we have to clean some things up. But kickoff return team, punt return team, Caleb punting the ball, they've been fantastic.
Yeah, Caleb Yost, your sophomore place kicker, tied a school record with 8 point-after touchdowns, so he deserves a lot of credit. But place kicking is an operation, a 3-man operation for the most part. So you got to give credit to your snapper, Gabe Decker, your holder, Ashton Smith. They were right on.
For sure. Ashton's been great all season. Wherever the snap goes, he's able to catch it, get it down, and get the laces out, which is so huge. And for the first time this year, Caleb having to play on natural grass, it was a little bit muddy, right, where everybody on the 10-yard line there holds. And for the past 5 weeks, people have been holding there and kicking from there. And so being able to have that operation go flawlessly, 8 for 8, our line block. I'll tell you what the biggest performance of the extra point team all night, I think, besides Caleb being 8 for 8, was Matt Gordner was out for a play. He didn't go into it to our extra point team, and so we said we need somebody, and here comes 155-pound Sawyer Keller that steps in at right guard, and Sawyer Keller stepped down, and they didn't get through, and so we were able to connect on another one, so that was awesome to see too.
Well, it's a battle of unbeatens tonight here at Crispin Field as the Bulldogs face Wyoming area. Later in the show, CJ will tell us about the Warriors, but up next, it's the Bulldogs Spotlight feature. You're listening to the CJ Curry Show on Pop Radio.
Ready to tackle your financial goals? First Keystone Community Bank invites you to play smart with your savings. Lock in a 182-day CD at 4.50% APY annual percentage yield to enjoy the winning combination of security, high interest, and short-term convenience. Go for the goal with the First Keystone Community Bank CD. For more information, visit fkc.bank. Minimum balance to earn APY is $5,000. Terms apply. Member FDIC.
For 10 years, Ken Pollock Ford has been proud to serve our neighbors, families, and our community. Celebrate with us during Ford Truck Month with leases on 2025 Ford F-150 starting at just $4.99 a month. Need tires? Buy 3 select tires. Get the 4th for just $1. Ken Pollock Ford is honored to be your Ford President's Award-winning dealer, and we can't wait to serve you for the next 10 years. Ken Pollock Ford, Front Street, Berwick, or KenPollockFord.com, where community and care come standard. See dealer for complete details. Offer expires 9/30/25.
We've all been there, faced with a physical setback. Whether you've suffered a sports injury that takes you out of the game, or your aches and pains are keeping you from doing what you love, we all want the same thing, to get your life back. Thankfully, you can trust the region's only nationally ranked orthopedic team to help get you there. At Lehigh Valley Orthopedic Institute, we turn setbacks into comebacks, one movement at a time. Lehigh Valley Orthopedic Institute. Comebacks begin here.
Buying or selling a home isn't just about real estate. It's about community, trust, and finding the right fit for your future. And nobody knows Berwick like Mark Nespoli with eXp Realty. Mark's your neighbor, rooted right in Berwick, with a passion for helping people find their perfect home, which is why he's also a top producing agent nationwide. So when it's time for your next move, choose the agent who knows the Berwick market and the community inside and out. Mark Nespoli, eXp Realty. Visit the570realtor.com or visit @Mark Nespoli on Facebook. Mark Nespoli, Berwick's hometown realtor.
You're listening to the CJ Curry Show on Pop Radio. Here with the coach of the Berwick Bulldogs is Jim Doyle.
The Wyoming Valley Conference Division II title, as well as the top seed for the District 2 3A playoffs, could be decided tonight when unbeaten Wyoming area takes on the unbeaten Bulldogs here at Crispin Field. In our next segment, CJ will tell us why the Warriors are so good, but now it's time for our weekly feature, Bulldog Spotlight. Tonight, the spotlight is on junior Gavin Galusha. CJ, last season, Gavin showed that he was more than a capable running back with over 500 yards rushing, but this season, the 5'10", 170-pound junior has emerged as an outstanding linebacker. You mentioned his play last Friday, 5 tackles for loss, 3 sacks, interception. What makes him so good at that position?
He's just such a tough kid, very smart kid for a football player. Football IQ is off the charts, and when he comes downhill, he is fast, he's tough, he's physical. But the biggest thing about Gavin to me is just his ability to do whatever is needed from the team. You know, you think about last year, he's our starting running back and ran the ball great. And then against Hazleton area last season, he gets a concussion. And so, you know, part of that reason is a reason why, you know, Ty Meir takes a couple more running back snaps as well and ends up taking off. So, you know, Gavin could have been really frustrated about that. Gavin could have been really upset about the fact that he's not playing as much running back and he's not getting as many carries. You know, he's averaging maybe 4 or 5 carries a game right now. Only had 1 on this past Friday night against Hanover when he only had 25 plays of offense, but he's never complained for a second. He works every single day and he just wants to be great. He wants to help his team however he can. And watching him flourish playing linebacker has been just such a beautiful thing to see. And he's worked so hard with Coach Sidler this offseason and just getting better with his reads and getting downhill and being able to scrape and blitz and tackle and make plays and getting even better in coverage. You know, as a freshman, he played strong safety, and, you know, for as great of a running back he is, it was just difficult for him, you know, in coverage and in space. And so moving him to linebacker, you know, once again, didn't complain for a second, and he's really taken off with that position. But it's just his toughness. I mean, Gavin's one of the toughest kids I've ever met in my entire life. I remember coaching him in junior high. He broke his collarbone on a run against North Schuylkill in the first quarter and refused to come out of the game. Nobody even knew it. He went and played a series of defense, got a tackle, came and ran 2 more times, and I saw him clutching at it, so brought him off, said, Gav, go get checked out by the trainer. Well, coach, it's broken. I wish I could still play. You know, another story about him and his toughness playing BYFL. Gavin got hit by a car on his way to a Berwick youth football game and just walked in and suited up, and everybody's like, Gav, you're limping, man. What's going on? Well, I got hit by a car on my way here. But Gavin Galusha loves football. He loves his teammates. He loves playing. He loves getting after it. I'm so proud of him. He was a captain last week. He's a captain again tonight, and just an unbelievable teammate and football player.
When Ty Wilkerson gets a much-deserved breather, Gavin goes in as a running back. What are his attributes at that position?
Tough runner. Once again, you know, a downhill runner who's not afraid of contact. And so Gavin has 4.59, 4.60 speed. And so Gavin, if he gets an edge, you know, he's gone. But it's just he's truly improved with his vision as well. You know, and a lot of times going from Ty to him, there's really no step back. And I know it's been tough for him to get yards, but he gains us tough yards when we need to and when we've needed to so far this season. So I expect him to continue to do the same thing. But he has great vision. I think his best attribute, though, is just his toughness, his ability to put his shoulder down. He always falls forward. He always gains extra yards, and he's a strong kid. So just that tough running ability from Gavin.
In the Bulldog Spotlight, junior Gavin Galusha. Tonight, Gavin and his Bulldog teammates play unbeaten Wyoming area here at Crispin Field. Up next, CJ will tell us about the Warriors' offense. You're listening to the CJ Curry Show on Pop Radio.
Jim Doyle and the Berwick Bulldogs head coach CJ Curry, brought to you by
Mason's Monogramming, Overhead Door of Berwick, Mayo Funeral Home, State Farm, Sean Black and Lori Powell, First Keystone Bank, Red's Roofing, Neighbor Fence Company, Wolfie's Automotive, ND Accounting and Consulting, J-Dog Junk Removal and Hauling of Berwick, Master Tech Automotive Services, Eco First Logistics, Ken Pollock, Journey Bank, Flick Brothers Electric in Bloomsburg, Alexander GMC of Hazleton, Papa Lou's Place, The Compression Shop, Cardinal Estate Planning, Chapin Oil, and Mark Nespoli of eXp Realty.
You'll only find the CJ Curry Show on Pop Radio and streaming online at thisispopradio.com.
Are your appliances feeling a little bit outdated? You're looking for the best deals in town? Well, look no further than Flick Brothers Electric, your go-to family-owned appliance paradise. Flick Brothers Electric has all the top-notch name-brand appliances you could ever dream of. Washers, dryers, refrigerators, dishwashers, microwave stoves. They even give free estimates on Fujitsu ductless air conditioner heat pump units. Flick Brothers Electric on Maple Lane, keeping Bloomsburg cool, clean, and cooking for over 65 years. Call them at 570-784-3444.
Red's Roofing, the roofing ninjas of Berwick. The roofing experts for all of our listening area. With over 30 years experience and great rates, why go anywhere else when Red's Roofing will get the job done right for your roofing, decks, and siding, specializing in metal roofs, rubber roofs, and shingles. Most of the work is done in one day. Red's Roofing, the roofing ninjas. Now located in Dushore and also serving Bradford and Sullivan counties with owner Harry Titus, a supporter of the Berwick football team and St. Jude Children's Hospital. Call 570-752-4351.
Hey guys, this is Ray,
Chad, and
Chad.
You're up and up. Chad.
So anyway, we're having too much fun here, like you will too if you go to buy a car. We can't even finish a commercial, but if you want a great deal, go to blazegmhazelton.com.
Yeah. On a more serious note, remember we have the lowest price guaranteed.
Or we'll give you $1,000.
Buying or selling a home isn't just about real estate. It's about community, trust, and finding the right fit for your future. And nobody knows Berwick like Mark Nespoli with eXp Realty. Mark's your neighbor, rooted right in Berwick, with a passion for helping people find their perfect home, which is why he's also a top producing agent nationwide. So when it's time for your next move, choose the agent who knows the Berwick market and the community inside and out. Mark Nespoli, eXp Realty. Visit the570realtor.com or visit at Mark Nespoli on Facebook. Mark Nespoli, Berwick's hometown realtor.
This has been the CJ Curry Show on Pop Radio. Next, we go live to the press box with Jim Boyle and Andy Ulicking on Pop Radio and streaming at thisispopradio.com.
Well, tonight marks the 29th meeting between Wyoming area and Berwick, but this game here at Crispin Field should be something special. Both teams undefeated. CJ, when I talked to Wyoming area head coach Randy Spencer in early August, he wasn't sure who his starting quarterback would be. He eventually decided on junior Jack Gravine, and the results have been good. Gravine directs an offense that's averaging over 36 points a game. Looking at his numbers, he appears to be a dual threat quarterback. Is that what you see?
Absolutely. Credit to Coach Spencer. It was a good decision by him, and that's why he is a great coach. Being able to get a chance to get to know Coach Spencer this past offseason, coaching in an all-star game, was just so great. I have so much respect for him and the program that he's built, the discipline that those guys play with, and the culture that Wyoming area has. But, Jack is just one of their better players on the team. As a quarterback, he's incredibly fast. He's an incredibly tough runner, and he's incredibly accurate when he throws the football. So he truly is a dual threat, and he has a big offensive line, a tough offensive line, guys that get off the ball, led by Max Getsy, the 6'5", 290-pound player as their right tackle. So, but not only him, Josh Maruk, their tight end, is a great player and a great blocker, and their running backs, truly it's by committee. They don't really care who gets the ball as long as they're scoring. You can tell based on the way they play, but Jack, tough runner, very fast. He breaks one almost every single game, and when you start to creep up too much on the run, he makes you pay in the air, and he's very accurate, he's very capable, and throwing to wide receiver Luke Kopechny, an all-state player last year as a sophomore, is a big benefit to him as well. So a good decision having him as their quarterback, and as you can see, the 36 points per game speaks for itself.
You mentioned Luke Kopechny. He might be the biggest challenge your secondary will face this season, considering he's 6'5", and considering both his size and athleticism.
Yeah, without a doubt. I mean, there's a reason why he was All-State last year. And you just watch how he runs routes, and he runs incredibly smooth routes. His release off the ball is great. He's got good speed. They really like the comeback play to him, and a dig or a curl or a vertical, and he's open on every single one of those all the time. And we're watching film, and there's guys that are on him, they're on his hip, and then he breaks down and gets to the outside on a comeback. Ball's thrown perfectly, timing's great, and he always comes down with it. He can catch contested passes. I've seen him do that a number of times, and that's their game. It's almost like Lackawanna Trail. They lure you in. They're in a double tight running back, fullback, and they'll run ISO, and they'll run power, and then it's play action, Kopechny on a post, and usually he's running clean, and he'll go up and make a play and score a touchdown. So just a very talented player.
Well, the strength of any Wyoming area offense is the running game. 2 years ago, they had an outstanding running back in Aaron Crossley. Last season, it was Lodge Kellum. Now it starts with number 0, Trustin Johnson. While he doesn't have the big rushing numbers of the two I just mentioned, he's pretty good, isn't he?
Very good. And they have 3 backs that can really go. Between Johnson, Champy, Gravine, all of those guys take meaningful snaps. All of those guys are over 200 or 300-yard rushers through 5 games of the season. So it just goes to show they're able to spread the wealth. They both, and Champy and Johnson remind me of each other. They don't have the best speed in the world, but they get downhill and they break tackles. And if they get out in the open, it is tough to catch them. They're not slow by any means, but these guys run hard. They believe in the system. They believe in getting downhill. They believe in breaking tackles, and they play for each other. And when you have that belief to play for each other and not caring who gets the credit, it's usually a sign of a pretty special football team.
You made reference to their offensive line before, particularly Max Getsy, who might be the most imposing lineman you're going to face at 6'5" and 290 pounds. But the rest of the group's pretty good too, isn't it?
Yeah, very good group. And I know that there's a bunch of new faces, but just knowing their offensive line coach and Mike Fanti, and he gets after those guys, and talking to him, he's an invigorating spirit, and I know that he gets those guys right. So I'm really impressed with their guards. Their guards can pull well, they're physical, and just seeing how this team gets off the ball. They're the first team off the ball. They stay low and they drive people back. And so you could see, they've been down a couple times this year. They were down against Lakeland. They were down against Crestwood. They were down against Dallas. And they just say, all right, guys, let's line it up. It's time to go. And they just wear you down. And they're able to continue to push the ball and then use their play action off of that. And so we know that challenge is going to be on the line of scrimmage once again this week. But we also know that football games are won in the trenches. And so we like, the matchups that we have. And it's going to be a dogfight. But, we put ourselves in position to help control the line of scrimmage and short tackling and make sure that these guys don't get ahead of steam. I think we could be in a position to definitely be in the football game.
Well, up next, CJ will tell us about the Wyoming area defense. You're listening to the CJ Curry Show on Pop Radio.
Hey, hometown fans. You know Journey Bank as your trusted local bank, but did you know we're also the biggest cheerleader for our community's youth? From athletes competing under the Friday night lights, to students excelling in the classroom, to talented teen stars singing center stage, we're investing in the future of our young people. At Journey Bank, we're committed to helping our kids score big in every aspect of life. Journey Bank, where dreams are nurtured and futures are built. Journey Bank, proud supporter of our local youth.
Do you suffer from tired, achy, heavy legs? Are you looking to elevate your performance and style? Discover the perfect fusion of fashion and function at the Compression Shop of Berwick. If you're looking for medical or athletic compression wear, if you're looking to power through your workday, or you're looking to recover post-workout, the Compression Shop has personalized consultations, and most of the products are try before you buy. All military get 10% off.
Producing agent nationwide. So when it's time for your next move, choose the agent who knows the Berwick market and the community inside and out. Mark Nespoli, eXp Realty. Visit the570realtor.com or visit @Mark Nespoli on Facebook. Mark Nespoli, Berwick's hometown realtor.
We've all been there, faced with a physical setback. Whether you've suffered a sports injury that takes you out of the game, or your aches and pains are keeping you from doing what you love, we all want the same thing. one movement at a time. Lehigh Valley Orthopedic Institute. Comebacks begin here.
You're listening to the CJ Curry Show on Pop Radio. Here with the coach of the Berwick Bulldogs is Jim Doyle.
There's a Wyoming area defense is giving up just 11 points a game and has shut out 2 of their 5 opponents.
Bringing 11 in the box against heavy run teams, which I think that we'll see tonight. They'll bring their free safety, their strong safety down to about 6 or 7 yards, and those guys are playing. So I think it starts with Josh Maruk, their defensive end, 6'2", 230. He was a great player last year. It's hard to block Maruk. So, between him, I think another guy that's really impressive on that defensive line is their nose guard, Caden Reynolds. And although you look at his height, weight, 5'9", 200, it's tough for anybody to block him. He reminds me of our Everett Snyder. He's just slippery, he has great moves, he can beat the center and just disrupt things in the backfield. And so between those guys, their backers cleaning it up, and they have some pretty impressive defensive backs too. So altogether, a good operation.
Well, besides the fact that this game is a battle of unbeatens with conference and playoff implications, there's something else here. Berwick used to be the most consistently successful program in the Wyoming Valley Conference. You could argue that right now Wyoming area is. So in some respects, this is kind of a measuring stick for your team and your program, isn't it?
Yeah, for sure. Coach Spencer has done such a wonderful job with those guys. They're state champions in 2019. They've been in the district playoffs. They've been in district championships. They've won district championships. And the culture there is that they are the best. And they have a right to believe that because they've done a really, really nice job in building and believing and staying true to who they are. But in our mindset here, and our guys have done a great job in buying into this season. It's the biggest one because it's the next one. And we know that, like you said, all these things are out there, WVC championship and district seeding and all this stuff. And our guys are aware of that, but they understand that, in order for us to be playing our best football in November when the playoffs start, it's important for us to improve this week and play better football. And if we can continue to improve, it's the biggest one because it's the next one. Go out, execute, be in this football game, and ultimately you want to be 1-0 on Friday night. And if we can do that and just continue to play better football, we'll be happy.
CJ, thanks again. This one should be fun.
Absolutely, it will be, Jim. Thank you.
Listen again next Friday for another edition of the CJ Curry Show prior to the Bulldogs game at Nanticoke.